Good morning. Today's Murli is originally dated 14th of April 1977. Title of the Murli is The Portrait of Elevated Fortune. Today, Babdada is seeing the portrait of the fortune of each child. Each one has prepared his own portrait according to his own capacity. The speciality of spirituality is needed in the portrait. A portrait filled with spirituality shows every soul the path to the spiritual father. Just as a beautiful portrait painted by a worldly painter reminds others of his creator, who the creator of that portrait is, in the same way, a spiritual portrait, that is, a portrait of elevated fortune, automatically attracts others to the Father who created it. Your fortune, that's Bhagya, automatically reminds others of God, Bhagwan, who created your fortune. Have you created a portrait of such an elevated fortune? A spiritual fortune means a walking, moving lighthouse. Let's underline this statement. A spiritual fortune means a walking, moving lighthouse. The duty of a lighthouse is to show everyone the true path. So, what wonder will so many of you walking, moving lighthouses perform? Have you become this, or are you still making plans to become this? This time, Babdada has come to take the results. The study is not taught at the time of the examination days, but an exam is taken of what you have already studied. The study is not taught at the time of the examination days, but an exam is taken of what you have already studied. So, Babdada has also taught you a lot through thoughts, words, and deeds, and he will now see the results. Is each one of you content with your results? Have you checked yourself? According to the time and according to the Father's study, have you made yourself a visible example in front of the world? Many types of example are given to clarify something in particular. However, out of all the examples, the most elevated example is a practical, visible example. So, have you become such that anyone who sees you experiences that the one who taught you or made you is the Almighty Authority Father? Let's ponder on this question and see what is that gives a practical, visible example of who has created us. So, have you become such that anyone who sees you experiences that the one who taught you or made you is the Almighty Authority Father? A practical, visible example is an easy and elevated method to reveal the Father. A practical, visible example is an easy and elevated method to reveal the Father. And for us, the practical, visible example is Brahma Baba. Have you adopted this method? You have celebrated the year of revelation, but have you made yourself into a practical example? Is this easy or difficult? To be a practical example means always to have the awareness of who you are and whom you belong to. Is this difficult? Who you are and whom you belong to. Is this difficult? Who finds it difficult to remember themselves? It can be difficult to keep in when a female plays a part of a male, then while playing her part, she would sometimes fall back into the awareness of being a female. The original form can never be forgotten. So, whatever you are, whomever you belong to, wherever you belong, it is the eternal original form, the eternal Father, and the eternal place. We'll re-repeat this statement. The original form can never be forgotten. What is our original form? I am a soul. And where do I belong from? I come from Paramdham and I belong to one Father, Achu Baba. So, whatever you are, whomever you belong to, wherever you belong, it is the eternal original form, the eternal Father, and the eternal place. It is not temporary. Is it easy or difficult to keep the awareness of the eternal? To give the practical result means to stabilize yourself in the eternal form, but nevertheless, you still forget. In fact, it should be difficult to forget the form that you bring into your awareness. Having forgotten yourself is not the eternal form. The form that you bring into your awareness, having forgotten yourself, is not the eternal form. It is the form of the middle period. The middle period means the copper age onwards. And what is that form? The body consciousness. And so it should be with great difficulty that you would remember the form of the middle period. That is not the real form. That is unreal. Babdada has come to take the result, especially of the older ones, those who have invoked Baba through their complaints. For the old ones to invoke Baba means to remain ready to give their results, because Babdada has already told you. You tell the new ones who come that for the Father to come means to have the courage to dive alive, because the Father comes to take us back and to transform the old world. In any case, when you call the Father, you have to remain ready to give your results. So, you are ready to take the paper, are you not? Are you unshakable on seeing the upheaval of the transformation of the world? Do you consider yourselves to be instruments to bring about upheaval, or are you still caught up in your own upheaval? Should Babdada give you a test to make you shake? Will you remain unshakable, or will you shake? Are you ready or ever ready? What is the result? Do you still shake in the little limited test papers that come? Tests through your own sanskars, tests through your own waste thoughts, tests due to lacking in particular power, tests that come in harmonizing your sanskars with others, or are you unshakable? An unlimited paper means a paper through the eternal elements, tests through the upheaval of the unlimited world, tests through the unlimited environment, and test papers through the impure and tamopradhan vibrations and atmosphere of the unlimited world. Are you ready to take such an unlimited paper? First is the paper of the self from the self, and deep point to reflect. First is the paper of the self from the self, is the paper that comes from the small world of Brahmins, or through the sanskars of Brahmins, a mock exam or a real exam. They have exams every 6 months or 12 months. This is about the Lokik academic system. Baba is giving us an example here. He says they have exams every 6 months or 12 months. Have you taken the limited test paper and passed? Should the unlimited paper now begin? Check yourself in this way as to whether you have become worthy of claiming pass marks or passing with honors in the test of any subject. Do you understand what you have to do? You are very much afraid. Whom are you afraid of? You are afraid of the little bubbles of Maya which are there in front of you one moment, but not there the next moment. Even little children are not afraid of bubbles. They play with them. They are not afraid of them. Those who are Master Almighty authorities play with the bubbles. They are not afraid of them. Acha, Baba will continue to tell you more later. Acha, to the walking, moving lighthouses, to those who make their fortune through the images of their fortune, to those who reveal the Father at every moment, to those who are ever ready for the paper of every situation at every moment, to those who become visible examples and who inspire others, to such children who are constantly Mahavir children, love, remembrance, and namaste. Speaking to Dadiji, all of you are the special souls, cooperative in Bab Dada's task. In return for your cooperation, you especially receive all attainments easily. For the length of time that you remain cooperative in every way, the immediate fruit of that is that you easily experience all attainments. As you remain cooperative with the Father from time to time, in return, the Father also helps you. When the children have one thought of courage, the Father has 1,000 elevated thoughts of cooperation. He continues to give you that cooperation at the right time. The children thought about it, and it happened with the Father's cooperation. This is the immediate fruit of the special souls who give cooperation. Souls who attain immediate fruit cannot experience anything to be difficult. They would feel everything to be as easy as though they are just repeating what they had just carried out. The feeling is not that they did it a cycle ago, but that they have just carried out the task and that they are simply repeating it once again. Even if something happened yesterday, you would have to think about it and draw it out of yourself. But this is something that you just did now. Through this, there wouldn't be a burden on your intellect. There would not even be the burden, I have to do this. How will it happen? It is as though you just did something and you are immediately repeating it. This is the immediate fruit you attain. So, are you those who eat the immediate visible fruit, or are you still thinking on the basis of the future? Of course, you will receive everything in the future. However, the immediate fruit is much more elevated than that of the future. Do not wait in anticipation of the future and deprive yourself of the present. 1 minute you belong to the Father, and the next minute you receive the fruit of it. Souls who remain distant from the Father would think of distant things, that is, of the future. Souls who remain close would constantly experience the immediate fruit. They would experience 100,000-fold return of one. It is like this, is it not? It is not that you are moving along, but that someone is making you move along. Baba is making you move along while having you seated in his lap. So nothing would be difficult. When a child is playing in his father's lap, he does not feel tired but would enjoy himself. Just visualize the scene of a child who is sitting on the father's lap, even in Lokik life, how peaceful and how every moment he's enjoying playing. If the child were to be walking by himself, he would get tired. He would cry or cry out in distress. However, here the Father, the one who's making everyone move, is also making you move along. You are moving along while seated in the Father's lap. So you experience such super sensuous joy and bliss. There isn't the slightest experience of anything difficult or hard labor. Is it an attainment or effort? The souls who become constant companions at the confluence age are totally ignorant of what effort is. There are very few who are totally ignorant of what effort is. This is a sign of the final stage. You are now coming close to that. Even making effort should become like a natural action. Just as other actions are natural, getting up, sitting down, walking, sleeping, etc., are natural actions. In the same way, the effort to make yourself complete should also be experienced as a natural action. Only then will you be able to transform this nature. That service still remains now. Now, all of you are going to make all others ready to take the final paper because all of you are instruments. Become ever ready to such an extent that they remain unshakable in any big or small exam. At the moment, they begin to shake in even little papers. They fluctuate in their own test papers. So now, make them prepared in such a way that before sending them back, that when they come, they are seen as those who are ever ready. Babdada has given you the realization course, and so he would also want the results of that. Continue to make everyone experienced. They become those who speak of the knowledge, but they don't become that experienced. If they were to become embodiments of experience, then such experienced souls can never be deceived. To be deceived means you are not experienced. While keeping this aim, continue to bring about those qualifications in others. Baba will see this result. Now, everyone should have the same enthusiasm to become complete and complete the task of world transformation. Otherwise, the task of world transformation is also in upheaval. The clouds fill themselves and shower a little and then they disappear. What is the reason for this? The world transformers who are carrying out establishment are in upheaval themselves. They move away from their own destination, and even the clouds therefore become dispersed. They keep thundering, but they do not rain. Acha, Om, Shanti. Let's observe few moments of silence and reflect on the various points of Murli before we come back to share. We can start sharing our own reflections of the Murli. Unmute and share.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
It's a very wonderful Murli, and the topic itself is so elevating. Like the portrait of elevated fortune, and where Babdada is seeing the portrait of the fortune of each child. Now the point which struck me is the like each one has prepared his own portrait according to his own capacity, and the speciality of spirituality is needed in the portrait. So once the spirituality is there, and instead of using our, in addition to using our own capacity, if we use Baba's capacity, I'm sure the portrait will be complete, and that's what Baba expects. So, and it will become natural. The completeness will become natural, similar to walking, talking, and moving around, and listening. And these activities are so natural. So the completeness will also become the natural form. Om Shanti.
Yes, what is reminding me is the, uh, the portrait or the paintings, uh, which in the Lokik world are also being known by the respective painters. What is that we soul can bring in to portray Bab Dada's character back in the world and reflect Shibaba's yarn that has come to us is only by painting ourselves thoroughly with the color of spirituality. Thank you, Mumbai, for bringing that.
And
Anybody else?
yes, and we can use Bab Dada's capacity. The point which I was trying to highlight
Yeah.
is, instead of just limiting ourselves to my own capacity, just elevate the vision, go to higher levels, and use subtle level Bab Dada, of course, and highest level Supreme Incorporeal Father. And he is the painter of all painters. I mean, he's the greatest painter ever. He, he paints such a diversity, and so all divine virtues have been painted by him. And that's we can make him our partner, and paint to a very highest level, elevated level of painting of our own fortune. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
So the brush is what Shibaba wants to paint, and the color is Bab Dada. Maybe one reflection is what I was getting here.
Yeah. And the canvas will be the intellect. Because the
Mhm.
painting has to be done on the intellect. I mean, the intellect is the painting tool or the painting app, which will paint is the intellect, but that intellect has to be divine, and our says Paras Buddhi. That Paras
But what
intellect,
intellect?
yeah,
Yeah. But what
if we,
intellect? Rightly brought across a plain canvas,
yeah,
not a canvas which is
no,
colored
no, no,
with
no,
body
already colored
consciousness.
with body
Yeah,
consciousness, it will ruin the painting. Bab Dada will not
correct,
be able to no help in
correct.
that case.
So first, Bab Dada is getting us tuned with the knowledge
Yes,
to make our canvas free from the past experiences. When I say
absolutely,
past
absolutely,
experiences, that is from copper age, and
yeah.
then bring into what the original form is, the plain canvas. And that plain canvas then paints Babdada's colors with a brush of Shiv Baba's knowledge. That's the
That's why
representation within.
that's it. That's said that like Nirmal, Nirman, Sadhgi, and which Dadi Prakash
Yeah,
Muni ji represented. That's the plain canvas on which direct Supreme Father paints, and with the help, of course, with the help of Brahma Baba. So that's
yeah.
the canvas we are looking at. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister.
Shanti.
I was looking at the first paragraph a little deeper, Channing. You know why? In one place, Bab Dada says, it is the father created the fortune. So, and in the second line which you read, it was said, each one prepares his own portrait according to his own capacity. Now, for a portrait to be prepared, if you just go to the basics, any individual would first do what we call it as the line drawings. The line drawings, the forehead, the eyes, the ears, just the line drawing. And then giving life to it, giving a particular, when the picture starts talking, that is the second aspect. So first of all, do I have, or am I a fortunate person to paint my portrait? Do I have that quality of the artist in me? So that I think I should never forget. It is Bhagwan, it is God who first gave me, and he gives everyone equal. So what is important here even is the line, the basic drawings. Like earlier, even Baba has said, when you're drawing the forehead, it's the thoughts, the eyes is the drishti, the mouth means you must remember the smile. I think that is the basic thing I have to first remember in line drawing. Painting is just a final thing, but the thing which is there, the basic thing which is given, that is where Baba is speaking of my eternal original form. So I think it's a really processed paragraph if you just see how Baba speaks about the fortune, but everywhere there are two people who are there in mind. One is I paint my own portrait, but it is also that it is God alone who created it. And it is, if you see that one line which you said, the portrait of an elevated fortune automatically attracts others towards the Father who created it. So the original canvas, what you were speaking of, the thing, everyone Baba gave equal. And then he also told you what should be the outer lines of your drawings and all. That's what you spoke of, knowledge. And then the painting which I do, that is where I think is my own thing, because that Baba cannot do. That I have to fill in with what you said, with the colors and spirituality. So see how nicely just the word portrait. For a person who's learning arts, especially who's learning about drawing, I think they'll be well aware about all these processes of art drawing, the line drawing and all. That's what I like. I want to see what is my line drawing. Is my line drawing perfect? And now what color should I put for it? That's what I took in that paragraph of portrait.
Very well narrated, Grija Ben. And yes, this Murli is for an artist. If an artist reads this Murli, I think he's got the whole yarn. Yes, Pijit Bhai.
Yeah, just adding on. Yeah, even I like this point that original form can never be forgotten. So Baba says, whatever you are, wherever you are, whoever you belong to, it is the original form. And very simple example, but very powerful example Baba gives. So a female is playing a part of a male, and while playing the part, at some point, or sometimes, she will fall back to her original form, and that awareness will keep coming in her mind. So here, having understood who we are, who belong to what our original form is, right? We are finding difficult to go back to that original form. It requires some effort, looks like. See, I think it's because of the journey that we have taken so long. Possible, but here, with the support of Baba, I think, yes, of course, we should be able to get there at some point. So I am also working out of my portrait to make it perfect and beautiful, so that revelation, Baba can use me, right, to reveal him.
Correct.
Thank you.
Sister, could you please clarify? Brother was just saying, when I went to the Murli to see, Baba says, whatever you are, whoever you are belong to, wherever you belong to, that is the eternal original form. Now, I was asking Baba, how can you mix up the eternal original form? Because if I remember 2 or 3 days before, eternal form is I am master, master, master. My original form is my future form. So that sentence I couldn't connect properly. Could you please?
Can you recreate this sentence once again, Girishaban? Exact sentence.
See, what is given over there is, so whatever you are, whatever you belong to, wherever you belong to, that is the eternal original form. Now these two are bridges apart, the eternal form and my original form. Eternal form, I forgotten it. But original form is my future form. That's what we learned in the Murli 2-3 days back. But what does Baba mean in this sentence?
Any reflection would anybody like to share?
Combined it.
One thought that I have is original form is see the soul qualities, right? See, we know we are living in this Kaliuk world, so everything that attracts us is we are not really liking. And when soul, the natural form is shanti, peace. Okay, and when we experience that, we feel so good, right? And nobody feels that when I get angry, I am feeling good, right? So here, what we need to understand is we like being in our original form, but we forgot how to stabilize ourselves in that. Right. So with knowledge, we understand that we are what our original form is, where we have come from, and what we are, whom we belong to, all that. So with that knowledge, we now understand that those all the soul qualities are. I'm just giving an example that our original form. That's why we like it. Right, we like to remain in that, but with this world has become so tamo pradhan and impure and ashanti place, so we are not able to stabilize in that. Though we like it, though that is our original form, we would like to stick in that form, but we are unable to. Right, so it's actually saying us that that is our original form. That's why we are we would like to go back, or we are trying to stick in that form. It's just one reflection.
No, brother, I just want to ask. So you're saying original and eternal are the same? Because just 2 days before, Baba had said, original form is my future form, Sola Kala Sampuran, Sampurna Nirvikari, and all that. But eternal form is I am just a light. And from that form, I came down from Paramdam. First, then I was a very good original form in the golden and silver ages. Middle period, I forgot it. So now Baba is saying, I have to go. That's what I understood it. But this sentence, when Baba combined it, I had a little, I just was thinking about it, nothing else.
Did you get the answer, Grijaben? Do you want any more reflection there?
If according to Bijit Bhai, both are same, because but I believe I learned original form means my future original form. Eternal form is the Paramdham's.
So if we look at the sentence,
well, what is it? So I
yeah, go ahead. I'm losing your voice, Grijaben. Can you be a little clear?
No, I just said, I always believe eternal is my state in Paramdham. Like everyone, all of us are like that. But everyone doesn't go through the original form. The original form, which Baba explained in a Murli 2-3 days back, is that Sola Kala Sampuran, Sampuran Nirvikari. That's only in the golden and silver ages. So when here Baba combined both that, I just wanted to know what was Baba's secret there.
So the reflection that I have here is, as Bijit Bhai said, yes, eternal and original form is the same. See, Sola Kala Sampurna, when we come in this world to perform our role, in the golden age also we are performing our role. Yes, we are, Baba is talking about Sola Kala Sampurna, but when we come down to a silver age, we absolutely the soul doesn't have Sola Kala Sampurna stage in the silver age. So the reflection here is original form is the soul form, that is eternal form. That is not going to be, जैसे in Hindi we say ना अग्नि जला सकती है ना पानी से वो soul गीला हो सकता है आत्मा गीला हो सकती है. That's what even Gita speaks about. So I resonate to what Bijpai says that eternal form and original form is the same. That's point of light. Any other reflections are welcome. So here Sakshiban says original form means soul and body both in Satopradhan. Sakshiban, can you explain this? This is not Sakshiban, this is Sadish Bhai. Yes, Sadish Bhai, would you like to throw some light on this? Would you unmute and share? He says original form means soul and body both in Satopradhan.
Perfect. I think that's the answer. Because I cannot take soul to be just in the original form as a point of light. See that one word, soul and body.
Mhm.
I think that's, I would love to endorse that, what he said. And eternal, I take just the soul. The question of body doesn't arise. I think I understood. That was a very perfect way of saying soul and body
Correct.
in the Mupradhan stage.
Yeah, but
Thank you for
again,
sharing this.
correct. Very well said. But again, the seed is the soul, right? So when the soul is pure, that's when the pure body is also we got, right? So it's all what matters is the original form of the soul, right? Because as is the soul, so the body, like Baba often say this, gold. So whatever jewelry is made out of gold, it depends on the gold quality, right? That the jewelry will be, that the jewelry quality also, right? So if the gold quality is it's not 24 carat, then the jewelry will also have that impact. So ideally, if you look at it, it's actually the soul's quality, isn't it?
Correct. I think each one has the different reflection and a great learning out of that reflection. There's this one point what Vinod Bhai has mentioned. He says we have to empower ourselves first to bring a transformation. Never be afraid of papers. Tolerating self, test by Brahman situations, nature. Never be afraid of that. And yeah, the first thing Baba's mentioned in these exams is to check whether I'm afraid of my own self. Any reflection on that side of the Murli today? What do we mean by?
Yes, sister. I loved that particular sentence. You know why? I like that mock exam. So before you go to the unlimited, that is in the world, first I within myself, take the example, I have a thought. Am I able to transcend that particular thought and come out of it? If my own destruction, if I'm able to do, I cannot give experience. So first I'll have to test it on myself. So that's the first mock exam. And then when Maya comes and gives you little those limited papers, those bubbles, then how to check that? It's only in the mock exam we know where do we lack, what is the speed of our writing and all that. So that's the initial. And then I love the way Bab Dada speaks of that unlimited paper. So many things he gives. So self is to check, I being my own, what I say, I don't know what's that instrument to check myself. That's first I have to do, my own checker.
I guess my own checker is I've been present to be in the awareness and agile at every moment. While you were sharing Girija Ben, one reflection that I get here is all those test papers that are coming to us is actually about our own self. Sometimes it may be about external situations, external behavior, of other people, but how I am taking that behavior is actually the test. And the way I will take it is going to be basis my own sanskars, my own nature, and the experiences that I have from time and again that comes as an hurdle for me to see the world out there. So for me, this whole part of the Murli comes as a test paper, though it may be seen external, but is actually about my own sanskar, my own value systems that shows out there. So the only place for me to stand is to work on my own self. And I remain unshakable in any upheavals that comes in, whether through my own value, systems and sanskars or through any other external things. And I acknowledge that I am not there. I get shaken up with small little things that comes up, which may not be the way I want it to be. So that's for me to practice from today's Murli, to check myself every moment as to, am I in the state of being stable all the time?
Beautiful, Rakhi Ben. You know, one word I remember when you said swimming with the sharks. Bab Dada is going to throw us in that ocean, in that thing, and he's going to see how do I swim with the sharks.
Yeah. So remember, I think yesterday, day before yesterday, while we were reading the Murli, I think it's yesterday, there was a point where Baba mentioned that all those bondages that comes to you, take them as a step of cooperation that is coming to you to lift yourself up. So all these test papers, see it from that lens, that it is for you to uplift yourself rather than bringing you down as to why it is coming to me. So no question marks, but accept it and move forward.
Sister, can you churn on the last paragraph? That I'm sitting on Bab Dada's lap and I'm moving. So it's such a beautiful feeling. Could you please churn on it?
Before I churn, would anybody like to share on that? Any churnings on that side of the Murli? So let me begin, and then others can share their thought. While reading the Murli, also the picture that came in front of me was how a little child sitting on the lap of Lokik father, how safe he feels. And when we there's this picture where the, the the father is actually putting the child up in the sky and then holding him back. At that point of time, uh, also that little child is laughing and playing with the father, and he feels so safe when he's sitting in the lap of the father, happily playing, laughing. Also, further on, Baba's mentioned in the Murli about when you're walking along with your father, you feel tireless. You do not feel being tired. But when you're walking alone, you feel tired. So just to come back to your question, Girija Ben, it's very safe and joyous to be on the lap of the Father. Very safe and secure place to be. That's what is my reflection on this. Anyone can add on further?
I don't know, so much is there to share. I'm waiting to listen from souls. You know, each one's mind gives you gave a vision now. For me, the vision was I'm going with my family to a beach. My father is holding my hand, taking me to the ocean. I'm playing with the waves. I'm not frightened of the waves because I'm holding his hands. I go with the swing of waves. You know, that's the visualization I got. That's such a wonderful feeling it came. Each of us have some different vision, and it would be nice really to know that. It adds to our story.
If anybody wants to share, we can take one sharing and then move on to meditation. So, Harpreet and Vinod Bhai, would you like to share? Ami Ben, Sakshi Ben, any thoughts? Rachna Ben, Premila Ben, Sridhar
Rakhi,
Bhai. Yeah, go ahead, Harpreet Ben.
what is the last para which you are discussing that it is in Baba's lap, right? Actually,
Yeah.
I joined late, so I don't remember the last para. The one that you're asking
This
for
is
reflection.
basically Girija Ben wanted us to turn on. There is a point in the Murli where Baba mentions that sitting on the lap of Father, you feel it's very peaceful to play and enjoy, and there's a super sensuous joy. So that intoxication is what Girija Ben is speaking about. So one is you sitting in the lap of the Lokik Father was a visualization that I brought in a picture. And Baba is talking about being with spiritual father. How do you experience? What is your experience? Is what the paragraph is all about.
So for me, this is more. I'm sorry, I'm recovering from a very viral infection and sore throat. But for me, it would be more like a visualization where there's a triple strength of the light of the soul, and like I'm sitting with Baba, who's the master light, and I'm within that, but around him itself is that real supreme light where everything is so perfect that it is like you have even the slightest of doubt, concern, you just be there. It's like as if you just jump into the lap of your father. And that father is already sitting in the lap of another supreme father, the all knowing. And for me, I always visualize that Baba also is belonging to another light. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Like I look at him more like in a Trinity style, like when even how the Christians believe the Holy Spirit, like Father, Son, and the child. Like, so for me, Baba is the second level, but there's a level above him, is the way I visualize. And Baba is like all the so many saints who came into this world. All the saints I visualize similarly. But there's that one light which is above all these saints, all the levels. So I don't know it's right or wrong, but that's the intuitive image that always comes to me. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, sister, for bringing that power of three things together: the Supreme Father, Bab Dada, and the Soul Power. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So before we move on to meditation, tomorrow we have Murli Manthan session that Dr. Sharmila Ben will be taking, which is for the Murli dated 5th of February 1977, which we read this Wednesday. It'll be good if we read that to take the maximum benefit out of the session tomorrow. Let's observe silence for a minute and experience three beautiful points from today's Murli. One is sitting on the lap of the Father, the Supreme Father. How do I, the soul, experience myself? Second reflection point is what's my state when anything with because of my own sanskar or external thing that shows up, how do I remain stable and how would that be seen in reality? And the third reflection point in this minute silence is to look at what are the attainments that I have got and I have been fortunate in this Purushottam Sangam Yuga. Let's have the reflection for our own self with complete silence of 1 minute. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. And in the experience of the intoxication of being with the Divine Father, setting myself on his lap, have a super, super joyous day. We meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.